artificial life is a life that's sweeter. Live a life that's sweeter with Auntie's Choice. Item, business is...
It's high time one of you scientist types responded to my calling cards. The position's been open for more than 2 days, and already productivity is tanked by 149.4%. You want the role, it's yours, but I'm not budging on those hourly rates.
Let me guess. You're backfilling Rasmussen's position? Or all the scientists who work with him on Cloister lying cold on the lab floor?
Both, obviously. Unless you mean to tell me a graft like yours can install itself. Do you want the job or not? We're burning starlight.
I do. Been waiting on this moment. This grafting program is a law-damned abomination. I went to your lab on Cloister, saw for myself what kind of depravity your folk got up to there. It's sick. My friend was butchered by Rasmussen. And he wasn't the only one. In fact, this program's been a sham from the start. I got tossed aside. And for what? A mistake? Ain't nothing good that's come of this. It's time to call it quits.
What a preposterous notion. Shall we stop producing inhalers because of side effects? Or shut down all food factories because one severed appendage finds its way into packaging? No, certainly not. I am not to blame for whatever inconvenience you experienced as a first edition patient. To quit now would be to toss aside all our progress. Nonsense. I have myriad data at my disposal to dispute such a claim.
Don't matter to me what your plans are, or what you think you might accomplish. You've hurt too many good folk, and I've had enough.
I fear you've gotten too negative an impression of this work. Hear me out, will you? Allow me to assuage those fears. Are you a fool? We cannot speak of sensitive business details here. There's no telling which opportunistic colleague or overpaid contractor could be listening in. Meet me in back deck steerage. Take this pass for the tram. And for law's sake, make sure no hanger-on follows you. Especially that assistant of mine next door. Chin up, dear. I believe I'll change your mind yet.
We'll see. Seen this song and dance from all manner of suits before. Reckon he'll try to reel us into a ridiculous scheme, or bribe us with bits or booze, or...
Fabulously lengthy approval process our overbearing neighbors employ. Why wait 20 years to bring a new product to market when it can be enhancing people's lives now as a responsible member of the... We allow you to take part in public product testing, respecting your right to risk a few petty side effects. Marketplace is dynamic, efficient, well suited to the shifting needs of populace.
Tramicular, arriving any moment now. Approaching station. Back in steerage.
You came. Foolish, aren't you? Thinking I'd reveal my secrets to the likes of you. Contractors, now's your chance. First one to kill these imbeciles gets a one-time Immunosol discount.
Mobilizing. Combat problem. I'm back in stand. We've suffered extensive damage, Commander.
Can't rattle me. I'm fortified by preservatives.
come through, my good Biff. That discount will be applied to your next purchase at the commissary, but cannot be combined with other... Ah! You're still alive!
Ain't gonna be that easy to get rid of us, you idiot. This how you treat all folk who approach you in good faith?
No folk have ever made it this far. How did you get past all my contract? This again? What is it with you? No, I've no incentive to shut down my life's work, especially at the demand of common thugs.
You ever seen a grafted claw strip flesh from the bones of a stubborn old man?
No.
Well, on the count of 3, you will. 1.
All right, fine. Consider this my resignation. Here, take everything I have. Any bits left in my office are yours. Just, please, don't follow me.
Good riddance. But this ain't over yet. The other executives will be notified the moment Willard flees the undisputed claim. And within hours, dozens of rung climbers will be at the tower jockeying for his position. It's all but certain that they'll claim his work for their own and make his bastardization of a grafting program all the worse if they so choose. Ain't about to let that happen. Ain't suggesting. I'm telling you that we can't stand by and do nothing. It's obvious he was up to his neck in some scheme. If we dig it up and get the word out, his legacy will be in shreds. Maybe folk will be less inclined to follow in his footsteps. Should all but guarantee that Willard can't come crawling out from whatever rock he's keen to hide under, in any case. I don't know. Folk here are a whole lot more callous than I'd anticipated. Look how they treat the contractors, the down-and-outers. Who's to say that hearing some sob story won't just make them shrug and be thankful they ain't involved? All right. We ought to start by searching his office. Any evidence we can find regarding money or business dealings could be of value. Once we got what we need, we can head to the recording studio to get the word out. The promise of a scandal should be enough to get in the door.
Tramicular, arriving any moment now.
We took what nature heedlessly assembled and vastly rebettered it through official means and anti-stress. We strive to be 110% wholly plus artificial. Artificiality is our guiding principle. Enjoy an artificially enhanced existence through the conspicuous consumption of unavoidable embedded chemicals with Auntie's choice. Attention any and all no-getters on my payroll. It's time to recognize the downwardly mobile with my latest demotions report, starting with Dr. Giles Rasmussen, demoted from his unnamed and clearly unimportant position within experimental operations. Welcome to your new role as Site Sanitation Manager, Doc. Next, we have Reginald Oswald in Proprietary Insight Acquisition, demoted for playing confidential logs in a paid public toilet. Not what I mean when I encourage working on the go. Perhaps a strategic step backward to Document Index Manager will refresh your info security fundamentals, Reggie. Congrats! You're now a file clerk. Clerk those files. Next is Elise Ripshaw in Product Development. Remember, Elise, when you told colleagues over drinks at the bottom runner that I was, quote, long in the tooth and short on ideas? Then you agonized for weeks that your college might get back to me, anxiety gnawing at your guts.
You cannot be here. My contract stipulates that this lab door remains locked at all times. I am not to be disturbed. That's funny, considering the heaps of times I've been called such.
I'm here to tell you that your treacherous fiend of a boss is now out of commission. and I'm investigating all of his indiscretions. You wouldn't happen to know about any unsanctioned business dealings, would you?
Ah, I'm afraid I can't help with that. I've only spoken with him once, upon my hiring. Well, yes, but not here or face to face. I was to have all communications sent to a private room at the Best Choice. He held all his business dealings and records therein. I gather he was circumventing intellectual property taxes or some such.
The Best Choice. That's the lounge for VIPs, looking out over the Esplanade, if I'm remembering right. We might pay it a visit. Oh, law. That room is what he meant by the carousal corner in that terminal entry, isn't it?
If that's all, I'll thank you kindly for closing the door when you leave.
Its watered-down rip-off, pitchball they call it. My, how imaginative. And don't get me started on their arbitrary rule changes. Bronzing is prohibited in the Tuesday and Thursday zones? Why even have the T-zones then? Oh, and sportsmanlike conduct is tolerated? Ha! That won't put posteriors in the seats. A blood sport without blood sounds like red ink to Auntie. Our tossball teams play for keeps. I witnessed no fewer than 6 critical blood force traumas in last week's contest between the Easy Heel Loafers and Spectrum brand bandits. I'd pit our least bankable tossball team against the Protectorate's entire
Purple Bear product samples! Purple Bear product samples!
Any day of the fiscal week. Even with half our team's 32 backs benched, they'd forfeit by middle time. It would be an embarrassment of body goals. Imagine the ad windfall. Our athletic assets would achieve full profit potential as human billboards. Of course, I also enjoy the simple pleasure of watching professional athletes bludgeon each other. Such a relatable interest. See, subordinates, I'm just like you. Until next time, look for me in the Platinum Executive Skybox above the line of scrummage. Anti-Cleos was specifically founded to fight what nature inflicts, to offer higher quality pharmaceuticals designed to be better than nature. Because nature
Samples from our nutritious tobacco line.
Our company has grown, evolved, consumed the first of many rivals. But that original goal remains one of our goals. Yes, now we strive to spread unfettered free trade and self-betterment throughout the galaxy. But we do so knowing you persist, well fortified by our products. So strive.
This is all quite pedestrian, isn't it? Synthetic vanilla.
With Auntie's choice. Trust your Auntie.
Auntie. Going to have a sale?
My dear child, every day is a sale at Auntie's Choice.
Yes, you heard. Sale when you're shopping for the best products at the lowest prices. Auntie knows you want to spend your bits on them. Money can buy. So she made sure every Auntie's Choice product is on sale for the lowest price that she can afford.
How do you know it's the best price? Because Auntie knows best. Always remember, commercialism is the foundation that Auntie's Choice Society is based upon. Not because we worship bits, but because of the system's glorious efficacy.
Yes, I understand I may look in charge, but I'm just minding the desk for our esteemed director, the real talent, as they say.
I need to get a message on the broadcast, urgently. Can you help with that?
Not unless you need any clever pointers on enunciation. Our director, however, is in one of the recording booths, through the door to your left. You'll want to speak with her.
When it can be enhancing
Welcome, welcome to Wireless Free Arcadia Studios. Thessaly Falk, Director of Talent Placation and General Runnings. Here to contract a recording or in the market for autographs?
Holt sent me to speak with you. I got a message I'd like to send out over the wireless. Trust me, this is one all the folk in Auntie's Choice won't want to miss.
Is that so? Well, the more riveting the content, the larger our commissions. However, as you're without an appointment and I'm quite busy, I'm afraid I've only time to record one take. Do make it count. Shall we begin?
Glad we're in agreement. I'm here to expose the truth about a prominent vice president. His business dealings are not what they seem.
That's quite the bold claim. Now remember to speak into the mic, dear. Enunciate clearly, but with feeling. Inhabit the words. Be the message. Joining us today in the studio is a very special guest and rare specimen indeed, a grafted soldier. And one who alleges that one of Auntie's own vice presidents is not who he seems. Take it away.
Inez Seelong speaking. I got intel on an illegal program led by Vice President of Experimental Operations, Willard Conan. Folk aplenty suffered because of it.
Some say there cannot be success without suffering. It's more or less standard operating procedure, isn't it? Unless you're leaving out any gory details.
Attention valued employees. Auntie here to brighten your workday with a report on just how much money
Some within our organization might call that frugal, thrifty even. That is, why waste a perfectly good resource when no one else has use for it?
These are human beings I'm speaking of, not barrels of void damn uranium. They were good folk who didn't know what they were signing up for. They deserved better. But if that ain't incriminating enough for you, Willard had himself some money problems, which ain't too distant from a grave sin far as Auntie's concerned.
Ah, now we're getting somewhere. Tell me, did he squander all his bits on drink? Bet it all on a tarmac and cheese rebranding? Or worse? Thoroughly recount every lurid detail?
He stole from Auntie directly. I have here, in his own words, an admission to the crime. It's go-getterness gone too far. And you know what happens to one of Auntie's nephews who misbehaves?
Splendiferous! Couldn't hardly get more sensational than that if we tried. The audience will be on the edge of their seat hearing all the ghastly minutiae about this scandal.
I think we did it. Won't know for sure until the broadcast airs, of course, but law, I reckon I might finally be able to put this to rest. For Ortiz. For everyone. Thank you, Commander.
Oh, Inez, almost forgot. We have a bit of a goodie bag for special guests who visit the studio. You qualify. Do collect it from the front desk on your way out.
Item. Business is good. We have positive bit flow. Our portfolio is diversified. But we can always do better. I'll give it to you straight in my quarterly underperformance review. First up, excessive corporate malfeasance.
Where's comestibles? Where's comestibles? We're literally giving them away.
Ease off the throttle, gang. Won't be any malfeasance if you don't look for it. Next is assertive arbitration. Quite the bit. Down. % in net grapes. You're supposed to squeeze blood from every contract, not put us in the red.
Welcome back. We understand you've been a very busy little manty-was. Well, out with it.
Yes, time is bits. Tell us how it went.
A satisfactory effort, my ameliorator. I had hopes your talents would yield a result a mite more in our favor, but good work overall.
Well, I suppose I can't argue with the truth of that.
Anything else you'd like to report? Now that's the compelling attitude we love to see in an ameliorator. Your performance at that facility went exceedingly well, all things considered, and it was an ideal first step in effecting my monopolistic mercantile methodology plan.
There you go again, pinning your career to that flim-flam mathematical malarkey. What do a bunch of eggheads know about marketing? Marketing isn't some rigmarole you can plug into a computronic doodad. It's instinct, intuition, know-how. It's a fucking art.
Yes, suppose we should move on. Ursula, will you do the honors?
I'm the head of our proprietary insight acquisition division. Stealing our rivals' trade secrets? That's our bread and butter. We can sometimes lack a certain subtlety, though. The Protectorate have a process called mental refreshment. Some kind of mind manipulation business. There's a facility for it on Praetor. And he wants details on their methodology, pharmacology, and technology. This archive plan says it's important. Fine. Auntie and I agree it presents possibilities. Oh, do tell. I hope you gathered supplemental materials and recruited the scientist as well. Really? Thought you had more drive, but suppose that's fine.
I, for one, care little for the completion of stretch goals. You managed to avoid being mentally refreshed. That demonstrates considerable pluck and fortitude.
Now, I assume you won't mind we have a few questions about the process. Our people will extract details about the pharmacology and methodology, and that will all no doubt prove useful, but we're most interested in the technology and its results. Can't say I like the sound of that. Seems like they'd be difficult to market to.
How truly unfortunate. Those without desire or drive make terrible customers. They can barely even be considered consumers at all.
What else can you tell us about the place? Turn up any additional details? Anything especially marketable? Don't let us keep you.
Good luck, my ameliorator. Remember, you can't spell pain.
Have time for a chat, Commander? Commander, you hear my interview over the wireless too? They've been playing it every hour. Part of it, anyway. Seems all the evidence we brought Thessaly made an impression. Other VPs are fearing for their jobs now. Can you imagine? Reckon nobody will touch Willard's work now. Definitely. I'd bet a post-mortem on Willard's activities is being drafted as we speak. Few are keen to repeat the same mistakes as someone trotted out as a cautionary tale. If I ain't said it recently, then let me say it again. Thank you. I don't think I could have done right by Ortiz all on my own. Nobody has to be hurt like he was again. Reckon I'll find a way to look after the other grafted soldiers out there. It's what Ortiz would have wanted, and what he deserved. But all that'll come after we save Arcadia. You know, it's hard to fathom that just months ago I spent so much law-damn time begging to be accepted, like I was worth only what other folk thought of me. I was so lost. I really believed when I ended my contract that a better life was possible. I know the truth about Auntie's choice now, and I know who I am. So yeah, a better life is possible, just not at someone else's mercy. I ain't gonna let myself or anyone else be led into the same trap they set for us, ever again. I will, Commander. Anyhow, that's enough sorting my thoughts for the moment. We got a galaxy to save.
This ship is certainly quaint. The grease stains and thrice retrofitted pipes give one the thrilling impression that the ship might burst into flames at any moment. I suppose there's something charming about its lived-in nature. Nevertheless, I have availed myself of the ship's cleaning supplies. Unsightliness is an enemy as sure as any other.
See that mighty tower there? Belongs to the Archive. Bet she's just as impressive on the inside, too.
I look forward to the reclamation of the Hyperion web. Hopefully you shall facilitate that. Now, how might we be of use to one another? Yes! Excellent! Take that, reductionists! Your horrid little surveillance devices shall finally be used for what their purpose should have been! Don't tell anyone about that outburst, please. Here's something to keep you quiet. I must admit I first had doubts, due to your association with a cultist. But yes, you've earned not only my trust, but the Order's as well. I hope you'll continue working with us. I've informed the presiding bishop you're coming to speak with her. She can be found in the room off the main stairwell. I'm sure I don't need to say this. But if you even think about bringing harm to Ruth, I shall know. Be on your very, very best behavior.
Ah, you've made such progress moving us toward an Order Anti's Choice alliance. Everything seems to be going according to the plan so far. But we approach a critical juncture. When you go in to speak with the presiding bishop, please raise the issue with her. I assure you this is the correct thing to do. For yourself, for us, for Arcadia. If you continue working for the Order alone, it will likely burn any possible bridge with Anti's Choice. So this is our last and only chance. Farewell. I would say good luck, but I put no stock in chance, only probability. May the plan favor us against long odds.
The Order has always proclaimed patience as a virtue, but I am pleased my waiting is finally at its endpoint. For so long, you have only existed as numerical values on a chart. A bright star in a constellation of possibilities, as it were. Now with your arrival, the Order nears the totality of its goals, provided you are willing to stay aligned with our cause. Prudent. Now then, I gather you already know who I am, but science has shown that good manners strengthen developing relationships by 5.3%. So, allow me to introduce myself. I am Ruth Basar, third presiding bishop of the Order of the Ascendant, Supreme Calculator, and, plan willing, the architect of Arcadia's prosperous future. My sensory deprivation chamber. I spend the majority of my days closed inside the silence, dulling myself against the tedious excesses of the body and mind. It's a rather personal apparatus, customized to my biological measurements. Would you ask to try on a stranger's undersuit? Perhaps you would. Your recent exploits at Greater Tranquility Station have certainly made for compelling reading material. Confronting an assassin, and thereby sparing the delegates' lives before the rift inexplicably destroyed the station? Such a commendable effort is worthy of acknowledgement. If your actions were so easily imitable, then we would not be speaking right now. Accept the credit. However, there's something of even greater import we must discuss. I just received the most curious transmission from Auntie Cleo. She wishes to discuss a partnership of sorts, and I heard you were the source of this plot. I'm confident that Vicar Levin played a part as well, but you can negotiate the credit with him at a later date. I must admit I have significant doubts about colluding with an entity like Auntie's Choice. Why should the Order agree to even entertain the possibility? Wise enough to recognize the perils, too. But the right course often involves remaining open to new possibilities. Auntie Cleo has already proposed a secure conference room on board the Undisputed Claim for our use. I will await your arrival there to mediate.
Failed to cite her work completely. I worked with presiding Bishop Orlo, you know. Now there was a serious scientician.
Welcome back, Agent. Is there some evaluation I can do for you? Call it proof of concept. Laplace's garden is more than its aesthetic. It offers a vision of a future free from the despotic rule of narrow-minded jingoists, where the fruit of the plan can finally ripen. It saddens me to see the garden so despoiled by our wartime presence. But with the loss of Spirton, necessity dictated we quarter here in the interim. Oh, the Laureate Council simply draws a name out of a hat. You could, but I fear you will be a long time waiting for the next selection. I have no intention of shuffling off this mortal coil anytime soon. In reality, I was recommended for my position by the preceding bishop. Paired with my skills as a seer, I was the natural choice when it came time for the council to vote. My predecessor, presiding Bishop Orlo, and I had a close working relationship. He knew I possessed the skills and temperament for the role. I counted him a friend. Orlo shared with me his doubts about the Order's partnership with the Protectorate. The compromise is made. He had many such regrets at the end of his life. Likely not, but it is the responsibility of every student to surpass their mentor in understanding and sentiment. And I can reliably assert that I have done that. May you achieve progress in accordance with the plan.
what nature heedlessly assembled and thusly rebelled through artificial means at We strive to be 110% wholly plus artificial. Artificiality is our guiding principle.
Look who it is, the instigator of this little affair. Her mathematicalness should be along soon, unless the leader of the Order's too busy crunching numbers to attend to business.
There we are. Apologies for the delay. We were resolving some technical issues. Cloister's atmosphere has a tendency to...
Oh, yes. Regale us with a thorough account of Cloister's atmosphere. Spare no detail.
This must be Auntie Cleo's trademark wit. I expected better. If I was discourteous, I apologize. So long as our mediator proves up to the task, surely we can remain civil. If not, these negotiations may prove short indeed.
From where I'm positioned, I sense 3 sore points still in need of massage. Point 1, control of the archive. Point 2, oversight of production and distribution of skip cores. And point 3, management of Rift technology.
Stop, please. If there is one subject at the forefront of my mind, it is the archive. Before we go any further, I want it in writing that the Order will take full control of the archive without interference from Auntie's choice.
What? So the Order can set it fruitlessly idling for another few centuries? We would put it to far more practical use. Imagine the marketing strategies it could develop.
I would sever my own hand before giving custody of the archive over to a corporation. Humanity's ascension depends on its calculations. No, such a condition is out of the question.
I am amenable to that proposition. Less work on our part.
I'm waiting to hear an argument that would support such a ludicrous proposal. That is a compelling vision of the future. One I could perhaps support. Involving money in science seems questionable. But having access to Auntie's resources would be useful for our research. Fine. Yes, I agree. Reluctantly.
Ruth, I commend you for being so receptive. And I assure you that Auntie's choice values science. Nothing bad has ever happened when science and commerce are combined.
On the subject of science, it would be most prudent for us to discuss who will be overseeing the management of skip drives, specifically the production of skip cores.
No one understands production like we do. Besides which, we have far more experience using skip drives. It was how we came to Arcadia, after all.
Where Auntie's choice manages, the Order would undoubtedly excel. Do not exclude us from consideration merely for lack of experience.
So you ramp up production? And then what? Hand skip drives out for free to whoever wants one? Preposterous, and a waste of a perfectly good monopoly.
We would be diligent about who we licensed out the skip drives to. And a monopoly over space travel is precisely what I wish to avoid. This technology should benefit all humanity. That assumes Auntie's choice would even abide by such a list of restrictions, and which would almost be impossible for the Order to enforce.
Not to worry. We can build a regulatory commission to oversee production and make sure everything is up to Auntie's choice and Order standards.
I will want to run some calculations to be sure, but I'm willing to concede on this point for now. There is still the question of who takes possession of the Protectorate's Rift technology once the war is finished. Although the science is still largely theoretical, this technology could be used to not only close rifts, but create new ones. A dangerous power indeed, left in the wrong hands.
The Order would fritter away valuable time endlessly hand-wringing what to do with the technology. Auntie's choice would actually use it. For good, of course. In a gainful manner. A 50-50 split? But that's so equal. Goodwill rarely converts well into bits, but I suppose I do take your point. If Ruth's open to it, I believe I can agree on the general terms here. And, well, we can haggle over minor quibbling details like percentages later.
I shall look forward to brokering the math with you, Cleo. There is one final matter I wish to discuss. I require some chemicals that I have been told are manufactured at a plant on Praetor, controlled by Auntie's Choice.
I know which plant you're referring to, Ruth, and what comes out of it is hardly safe for general use. Out of professional curiosity, what could you possibly need with such dangerous compounds? Running a little experiment, are we? On what? Or whom?
That is, quite frankly, none of your concern.
Precisely. Partners don't withhold secrets, although they can and probably should withhold extremely dangerous chemicals if not properly notified of what they will be used for.
I will make no progress with my request without further explanation, will I? While the archive is an infinitely complex machine, an equally complex apparatus has been designed which allows one to interact with it directly. Brain-to-logic assembly, as it were. Unfortunately, this headgear exacts a rather tremendous cost on the wearer. A certain panacea is needed to survive it, but I require these chemicals to finish it.
Certainly. I'll even extend our corporate partner's micro discount to Ruth as a show of good faith. Best I'll say is today's outcome is workable. Barely. Our gains were not as exclusive as I had hoped they'd be.
Arriving at any arrangement even remotely equitable was statistically improbable. Be glad our mediator managed to find a middle path forward. As am I. You certainly have a way of curving probability into your favor.
Well, that'll be all for today. Don't forget to purchase the latest in Auntie's Choice products out on the value-added Esplanade, or enjoy a refreshing cocktail at the Best Choice. And do come see me personally when you have time. I have just the thing in mind for an accomplished freelancer such as yourself.
One moment. There are still the logistics of recapturing the archive to consider.
We'll of course provide our expert troops to support these efforts. Have your people call my people to sort details. Toodaloo!
Brusque as ever. Auntie's troopers will certainly help us manage the Protectorate forces easier, especially if supported by your help. But it would be irrational to expect you to endanger your own life without a more specific strategy in place. Fortunately, I have already given this some thought. First, Order forces must move into our former headquarters at Spireton. A simpler task now that you have liberated it. By all accounts, you thoroughly routed the enemy. Well done. More importantly, there is a lift located in Spireton which can deliver our troops into the archive to assist you against the Protectorate. Unlocking and calling that lift can only be done from within the archive, however. So you will need to infiltrate the archive by alternate means, via a bridge connected to Newton. Fortunately, I am told you already dealt with the cultists there. Unfortunately, you will still need to find a way past a small rift currently blocking the bridge. Ordinarily, I do not fancy surprises, but you are proving an exception to that rule. With such a device in hand, bypassing the rift should be as rudimentary as pie. And perhaps at some later date, you will also permit our scientists to analyze this gadget at length in one of our labs, provided all goes according to plan. There is a computronical key that you will also need to locate within the archive called the Calcaduceus. The Calcaduceus grants special access to the archive. Once it is back in Order hands, we will have full control over its systems once more.
Until the Order has control over the archive again, this discussion is all but moot. You know what must be done. May you achieve progress in accordance with the plan.
I never would have foreseen this day would come. You are exceedingly unpredictable, Commander. In a good way. Mostly.
We've successfully co-opted yet another of our rivals. Can't believe those eggheads accepted the deal. What's next on my agenda?
That outside contractor is here. You requested a brief tete-a-tete.
Ah, there you are. Our fresh-faced new go-getter. We meet in the flesh at last. You've proved quite useful. Keep it up. You'll be going places. You don't seem much put off by my appearance. Good. I have no stomach for those with no stomach regarding me having no stomach. It is, however, something of a brand secret reserved for only the most trusted confidants. And covered in detail buried within the confidentiality clause you agreed to on arrival. I trust this presents no concerns for you, yes? Fortunately, when you're the head of an advanced medical technology corporation, you become first in line for any experimental life-preserving procedures. As far as what happened, I was the victim of an unfortunate industrial accident shortly after we arrived here, the details of which are less salient than the details of what comes next.
Not at this time. Though I wouldn't rule out a little grave robbing in a later date. No, we have a mission for you that is vital to Auntie's Choice's survival.
We've uncovered an opportunity to procure me a new, audaciously improved replacement body.
That was actually considered at one time.
But ultimately, it was found unviable. Not too sure how much you've boned up on our grafting program, but it had a significant number of setbacks.
No, to find me the perfect body, you'll be assailing an inappreciably populated automated automech factory over on Praetor. That facility was designed to build complex automechs, a natural choice when the Protectorate began experimenting with a proxy body for the original Sovereign. It was the last in a long line of his ill-fated life extension experiments. Work halted when he died, and the torso prosthesis they developed has been locked in the lab ever since. Make it mine.
There's a sub-facility beneath the automech factory. Its entrance, being hidden, is easy to miss. But we can show you how to find it.
Well then, fetch me my new body and we can finally begin bringing this system to heel. Shoo! Auntie has work to do. Shoo shoo! Move along. Now.
Remember what we discussed and act